Because I think a lot of people by nature, I think they want to be better. I think they just don't always know how, or have the examples, or have the awareness. So what do you do? What can you do to sort of cultivate that awareness and cultivate that ability to be able to see the things that are going on in your life that are holding you back and fall into a loop or a pattern?
Well, I have a practical answer for that. If you want to get better, I developed a set of writing exercises with my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have 2 exercises. One's a personality test. And so for self-awareness, that can be really useful. In fact, if you take it with your partner, you get a couples report.
Huh.
So it'll tell you 10 aspects of your personality clumped into 5 factors. Extroversion, so how social you are, and how positive, how bubbly, how enthusiastic, how assertive, how talkative. That's all extroversion. Neuroticism, that's negative emotion, almost all of them. Anger, irritability, fear, guilt, shame, despair, disgust. Disgust is a little unique, but all the negative emotions clump together, and people differ in their susceptibility to that. Agreeableness. Women are more agreeable than men by quite a substantial margin. It's associated with compassion and politeness. And so disagreeable people, they're more blunt. They'll tell you they're less conflict avoidant. Yes, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, it'd be interesting to take the personality test and see where you fall, because my suspicions are that for a woman, you're quite disagreeable. And that's not a insult, by the way. Agreeableness is quite a weird dimension because there are marked positive and negative attributes all along the entire dimension. Mm-hmm. So disagreeable people, if they're really disagreeable, they can be callous and unkind and cruel and antisocial. But very, very agreeable people can be dependent and
Sure.
And over nurturing and devouring, on the I'll never let you go end of the spectrum, right? So that's agreeableness. Conscientiousness, that's orderliness and industriousness. It's the best predictor of lifetime success, apart from general cognitive ability, which is IQ essentially, and openness, which is creativity. And it's associated with interest in diverse activities and novelty, aesthetic experiences, and interest in ideas, philosophical ideas. And so you do a podcast, you're probably pretty high in openness.
Oh, yeah, I am very high in openness. Is this the future? What's it called?
This is called Understand Myself. And if you do it, you get a report for you. And if your partner does it, you get a report for them and both of you. And so the reason we did that, that's a relatively new innovation, by the way. The reason we did that is because it's not easy for people to understand each other, and they often feel that their partner is being arbitrary. So, for example, my mother is very extroverted and my father is quite introverted, especially he's low in enthusiasm. And so my mom would just as soon be out with people having fun all the time. But that exhausts my dad. And introverts get exhausted by social interactions. I think they're more, their niche is one-on-one and maybe being in nature. Whereas extroverts, they want to be in society, and they tell jokes and they smile and they blink more, and there's all sorts of things that go along with it. But if you're extroverted and your partner's introverted, you've got a problem, because you're always going to be out and about, and that energizes you. And when you're not with people, you're going to be unhappy, or you're going to be not happy, not unhappy, because that's neuroticism, but you're not going to be happy. The positive emotion is going to go away. And so how do you bridge that gap? That's how you are. It's not some arbitrary decision. It's built into you. And so if you really diverge in extroversion, well, that's a problem. If you're both really high in negative emotion, you're going to be setting yourself off, the two of you off all the time, right? So, and as I said, at higher levels of neuroticism are associated with marital unhappiness. So if you're both high in neuroticism, that might be the one dimension where you don't want to be like your partner if it's high, right? For someone who's high in neuroticism, they might really like to have a stable partner who's less threat sensitive. So, and then agreeableness. Well, agreeable people, they're easy to get along with. They're conflict avoidant, but they can be pushovers. And so if your partner's disagreeable and you're agreeable, it's going to be hard for you to stand your ground, because you're going to get run over.
So awareness comes through actually wanting it.
There's that, but also understanding, to some degree, understanding what the differences are. Like, I thought my daughter was more disagreeable than she is when she took my test. She took the test and it showed that she was higher negative emotion than I thought. And so what I saw as combative was reactive anxiety. And that was really helpful to me because I thought it was combative. It wasn't. So, and I thought I'd be able to tell that, but I couldn't. So people high in negative emotion can be irritable. And so that looks like combativeness, but it's defensive. Disagreeable people can be more predatory. They're out to get what they want. They want to win, and that's different.